Yeah.
A little selfie before we start.
Pre and post.
Okay, well, we're going to make a start. So, good morning, everybody. I'm Dan Thomas, the Chief Communication Officer from the UN Global Compact, and I'm here with Sergio Fernandez de Cordova, who's the chairman of the Public Foundation. We're here live at the Web Summit in the UN SDG Media Zone. We're very pleased to be here, the world's largest tech conference, and we're here to open up a series of discussions on this stage, live on United Nations television, live on a number of channels on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and this is just the first. We're going to open it up with a conversation with Sergio here. But Sergio, I want to take you back to 2015 when
Yes.
you and I created this SDG Media Zone. What was the idea behind it, and why did we create this space?
Well, the idea was, as you were with the PGA, President of the General Assembly of United Nations, was how do we actually put together a platform that, if you were to think about ESPN Sports, is to sports, but for the UN, for the high-level meetings, and to get people really excited about what was going on inside the walls, to get more people to understand what really was happening, not just the legislative and the sort of political stuff, but really how do we socialize that? If you remember, it was originally DMZ, the Digital Media Zone, right? But the DMZ didn't go over too well. But that's what we...
So we created the Sustainable Development Goals Media Zone, the SDGs.
Yeah.
How well are we doing, do you think, in helping the world and helping the world of business understand the importance of the Sustainable Development Goals?
Well, personally, I think with the platforms that we're working on, and specifically the SDG Media Zone, I think it's really become a vehicle on its own. Really, it's become a brand. It's become an icon inside the UN during the high-level meetings, during the General Assembly specifically, because we put up the tent. And what we're seeing specifically from the work that we're doing is we're seeing incredible engagement, right? Incredible engagements because we bring the Media Zone to the different events around the world, not just during UN events, but also that sort of public and private partnership of engaging the private sector so that they know that this agenda is also their agenda, that this agenda is for everyone. It's our agenda. It's our collective as humans, and we just need to educate people. And every time we do these media zones or other related events, we're hopefully educating a percentage of folks that will continue to educate others and engage them on how to utilize technology, business, and innovation for good.
Yeah. And now we've brought this to the Web Summit. So how important is it to engage with the tech sector, do you think? How can the tech sector really help drive the sustainable development agenda?
Well, I think what the Web Summit brings together, right, the level of innovators, investors, and entrepreneurs in the tech sector, being one of the world's largest conferences in this space, I think it's an incredible opportunity, right? And I think when you guys came to us and you said, hey, Global Compact as the UN's agency on engaging private sector wants to engage those innovators, right? To me, I thought it was the most exciting opportunity to really continue to push the envelope, especially with entrepreneurs, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are building businesses now focused on purpose, but they don't know that there's a global agenda. They just know that this is what they want the world to look like. So bringing them and aligning them and letting them know that there are 17 goals that 193 countries came together to help create a framework so that every one of us can own an opportunity to help make this world better. What a better place than the Web Summit to continue to educate and engage these young leaders. Global Compact, you guys do a great job of engaging the large multinationals, right? I think this is an incredible opportunity to go after the folks that are just getting started, and even folks that are investing in companies and saying, well, how they're making money, but are they also impacting the world?
Yeah, and I think that's very much why we're here at the UN Global Compact is to start that engagement with companies just as they're being born. Those sort of innovators, those entrepreneurs, it's an opportunity to really get them thinking about not just purpose, but about the purpose that 193 governments have set for the world, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And so that's why we're here. We're going to be here for the next 3 days. We've got a packed program of great conversations on this stage coming up today, tomorrow, and the next day. And we'll be handing over to a colleague in a minute to start one of those conversations. But finally, Sergio, you've been helping the UN engage the private sector for many years. Why do you do that work? Why do you think that work is so important? Why do we need the private sector?
Well, as an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur my whole life, you get to a point that you're building businesses, you're selling businesses. Who are you doing it for? Right? What are you really doing? And I've gone through that personal discovery myself, and then realizing that there is a global agenda, not the SDGs. There was the MDGs before, the Millennium Development Goals. Said, well, what can my generation do? What can I do? I've built this. Well, what if I could utilize this to actually do good? And I really became fascinated with the idea that as entrepreneurs, we're rebuilding the future of tomorrow every single day as technologies evolve, as innovations continue to evolve, that why can't we also engage those same entrepreneurs that say, good business with purpose is also good for the bottom line. Right. It's also good for the future, right? It's good for your family and everyone else that comes after you. And really the opportunity to do that, so we started the foundation public because we realized that we had to actually be in the NGO space to help bring public and private sort of innovation as well from our perspective. So, very, very excited. And, as you know, we've for folks to know, Dan and I have been collaborating for many years as he was working with the President's office and now at Global Compact. And it's great to work with UN agencies that actually have leadership that actually get it. Right? As an entrepreneur, we'll continue to push innovation and help support UN initiatives and governments on how to actually engage people that can change the world, right? But we need partners and stakeholders to actually hold hands with. So for that, we're also grateful.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you for your support. Thank you to the Web Summit for hosting us. They've invited us to be here to bring the Sustainable Development Goals to the Web Summit. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to be here. My colleagues are here engaging the future Bill Gates and Steve Jobs of the world in this conversation around sustainable development and where the world is going. We've got 10 years to go. We'll be kicking off the last 10 years, the decade of delivery, beginning next year. And so far, progress is slow. We need to rapidly accelerate the impetus, the work behind these sustainable goals.
And create more awareness.
And create more awareness and really get the private sector much more engaged. So without further ado, we're going to wrap up this little opening session. And I'm going to hand over to my colleagues, Jeremy, to lead a conversation around the future of food, the future of food, how climate change and tech can really help feed our world sustainably. So Thank you very much, Sergio.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Great.